Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lane Ashfield, and I'm here today with poet and songwriter Connie Marotta. Hi, Connie. It's a pleasure to meet you to discuss Imagesong.
Hi, Lane. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Connie, tell me a little about yourself. What led to Imagesong?
Well, I've been a writer my whole professional life, and I taught poetry, writing, and literature in several colleges in New York. I've written poetry from a very young age and eventually published 2 books of poetry, Illumination and Sonnets to Love. Several years ago, I started writing songs for my partner, Debbie. They started as gentle words that often became simple, quiet songs of love. I called them morning lullabies.
That's very sweet.
Soon Debbie wanted me to record them on her phone so she could listen to them whenever she wanted. Interestingly, when we heard them sung back, we mused at how nice it would be to hear them with a musical arrangement. The journey began.
Incredible.
Interestingly enough, because the pandemic shelter-in-place regulations had just gone into effect, John was able to get some fantastic musicians, jazz vocalist Alexis Cole, Mark Phaneuf on sax and flute, Mari Dorman-Phaneuf on cello, and Mike Eckroth on piano. The team was an incredible and fortunate collaboration, almost miraculous. My songs came to life, and Debbie and I established Imagesong.
Aside from the personal joy of creation, what would you most like to accomplish with your work in poetry and music?
I feel that my songs are an extension of my poetry, where my goal was always to create something very beautiful that would somehow move readers and listeners to an emotional, if not intellectual, awakening of something very beautiful in themselves, and that would hopefully extend out into the world. I often pose personal love as a metaphor for universal love. Honestly, I'd be thrilled if my poems and songs could help spark a social transformation through the power of beauty and love.
Amazing.
I want so much to spread a message of love as a powerful, transformative force that might begin to unravel these forces of fear and hate, violence and destruction that seem to have a stranglehold on human consciousness and are destroying the world.
This is something so incredibly important and relevant to the world today. Your recent release, A Beautiful World, blew me away when I heard it the other day. It forcefully and beautifully captures all of the things you just so eloquently expressed.
Thank you, Lane. The song was taken from my poem Reveille, which I've said on my website I'd like to shout from the rooftops of the world. One of the major themes of the poem is the almost godlike potential in the human mind that we have apparently squandered since the beginning of recorded history. The poem and song repeat the cry, "How long?" If it's all right with you, Lane, I'd like to read a short quote from that poem.
Oh, yes, of course.
When will we start to wonder why we have a brain so intricate it could, if tapped, keep galaxies ablaze with light, yet we remain content to use it like a flickering candle, barely bright enough to move us through our days and nights? How long? How long will we accept the chains that hold us like we're slaves without a fight? How long? How long? I thought that if I converted the themes into a song, there'd be a better chance of at least some people hearing it. I hope with all my heart that it happens.
I certainly hope so too, Connie. In fact, the effect that song had on me was one of the reasons I was hoping to get you here for this interview. I feel like I'd like to sing it myself from the rooftops of the world.
Thank you so much, Lane. If only that could be so.
I was thinking, Connie, it's hard to fit this song into any specific genre.
Yes, it's been very difficult, and it doesn't really sound like any other artist's work. We've had a difficult time trying to fit it into a slot for the streaming services and radio airplay, but we can only hope it gets out anyway.
Well, I sure hope so too. I can't help but think that something this unique and excellent will somehow get the recognition it deserves.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Lane. I can only hope for the best.
But Connie, on another note, can you tell us something about your creative techniques? I know that people often wonder how a song gets written. What comes first, the words or the music? Can you give us some insight into your own process?
It really varies. Sometimes a melody strain will come to me first, seemingly out of nowhere. Sometimes even in sleep, where I'll wake up and run to my phone to record it before I forget it. But most often it'll come as an idea or phrase that I'll somehow surround with a melody. Then the dance begins, sometimes painful and frustrating, but mostly amazing and joyful. Very, very fulfilling to bring a song to life.
Fascinating and beautiful. Well, Connie, you're an inspiration to us all. Thank you so much for being with us today, and all the best of luck with Imagesong.
Thank you so much, Lane. It was a great pleasure being here with you today.
Well, folks, you heard it from the great poet and songwriter of Imagesong. She wants to spark a social transformation with the forces of beauty and love. So, as she says in her poem Reveille, let's brush the sand and rub our eyes. New sight can light the fuse. Let's ride a cosmic chain reaction toward the light. Thank you all for listening, and I wish you love.